Hello and welcome back to the old realms, and we're going to be attempting to fight against the vampires once more. Now, I do have to obviously declare war in the really annoying way, which is obviously to attack some villagers, but there is no other way for me to do that. You know, I can't go through diplomatic channels. That is just impossible for me, unfortunately. Anyway, we are very close by to one of their towns, and there are a number of vassals in the area as well. I'd love to be able to actually fight a couple of them, because that's going to inherently weaken them almost instantaneously, and that's kind of what we want to do. So as you can see, there's actually two of them right here. I'm actually not sure. Do you think we can tackle two? We might be able to. We might be able to, if I can catch them, that is. I'm moving at 4.8. This guy's moving at 5.0. How is he moving so fast? That is actually kind of, that's kind of weird. Okay, this guy, yeah, they are both moving super quickly. I guess it's because of their career tree, right? It's probably because of their career tree. Anyway, these guys are now going to be probably going over to join an army. I can only assume that to be the case, at least. And I'm just going to go straight on in here. That is literally what I'm going to do. I'm going to go straight on in here. I just want to call for an army. Obviously, there is an army already made, but I felt like, you know what? The best play for us to do right now is to basically allow the AI, the friendly AI, to take as many troops as they want, and then for us to take the leftovers, whatever the leftovers are. In my opinion, that seems like the best possible course of action, because if we do it this way, it means that the AI has the best possible shall we say, chance of being able to resolve any kind of problem. Because if we take all of the, you know, vassals that they want, or the vassals that they think are good or decent or whatever, then indeed it's probably going to make things a bit more difficult for us. So that's the reason why I'm you know what, just going to decide to do it that way. Anyway, let's actually see what happens here, because obviously I'm not entirely sure if we're going to make any headway whatsoever before we make inevitable peace. And that's a bit of an issue, you know. That is a bit of an issue. I think, basically, if I were to create a character again, and I were to try to create the strongest character in the game, obviously I would basically go for... I would either go for a Bretonnian damsel, because I think that the damsel is probably the strongest character. I think, maybe. I mean, here's the thing. It very much depends on what you want to do, because obviously if you want to play something that is a little bit more micromanagement intensive, and I'm talking about actions in a combat situation, so pressing a lot of buttons and, you know, having a very active role to play in whether your side achieves victory, then that's pretty much, you know, if you want to do that, then play a vampire. But if you want to have a bit more of a hands-off approach, and you want to play a bit more supportish, and be kind of careful with your Winds of Magic resources and so on and so forth, then the damsel is probably the way to go. But yeah, anyway, basically what I said was being able to create one's own faction. If you create your own faction, you're probably going to have a much better time of things in general. The Bannerlord AI is really kind of weird sometimes when it comes to declarations of war, declarations of peace. Basically anything to do with the diplomacy system has some weird stuff going on with it. It even has weird stuff going on with it when you have the diplomacy mod installed as well, because we've had that installed beforehand. And I kind of thought, hey, you know what, maybe that's going to help us a little bit. And in general, it does to a certain extent. It does some of the time actually help. What is... Yeah, now this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to leave. This is absolutely hilarious. I have no idea why anyone would actually decide to do this. This is really strange. I have no idea, but I guess we are going to... I'm actually wondering whether we should just auto-resolve this. I don't really want to do that, though. I'm going to just leave. And we're just going to let them do it. Because they've got trebuchets, right? Oh, no, that doesn't make any difference. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm just going to let them do it. I don't know. Is it worth me actually doing this now? Not really. I guess That's, you see, now this is exactly what I'm talking about. I think that this is such a weird decision from them, to be honest. They are literally going to get wrecked, and there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I can go in there, sure. You know, I can go in there, but why would I go in there? It makes no sense. You know, that is just a huge waste of my own resources, and now I'm thinking to myself, they're going to probably retreat or something like that. Basically what I wanted to do was take this town immediately, you know, just try to do as best damage as I could with my trebuchets, try to bring the walls down, and then, you know, we could make a good go of things. You know, we could actually get inside without having to worry about, you know, scaling the battlements and so on and so forth. But no, the AI had to do this, and I'm not entirely sure why. I'm really actually kind of confused about it. The AI does tend to decide to do that quite often, where they do try to interfere quite a bit in what you are attempting to do in regards to your own sieges and how effective you can actually be with them. Because here's the thing, obviously, if you take a look at what the AI just did right there, that doesn't make any sense. You know, it literally does not make any sense from a strategical perspective, from a tactical perspective, from basically any perspective whatsoever that makes sense. It doesn't make any bit of difference. Like, I don't understand. Really kind of crazy how that happened, because I mean, you saw it, you know, you saw it with your very own eyes. But if you didn't see it, then I'm just going to explain it in 5 seconds. All right, so we were building trebuchets, they come along and they just immediately charge in. I don't understand. Why would you do that? Why would you, like, you literally have all the trebuchets built. You might as well wait until the walls are slightly damaged, at least, you know, wait until they're a little bit down first before you actually go in. But these guys literally just decided, yeah, you know what, we're just going to throw all caution to the wind and just completely ignore everything that our friendly vassal, i.e. me, have done in the effort of building those trebuchets and everything. I mean, look at how easy it is for us to actually destroy the walls right now. We're getting like 5,000 damage every single time. And we can also do something like this, for example. Like, I'm obviously the engineer for our party here. So what I can do is I can increase the trebuchet accuracy during the siege bombardment by 10%. Now, I don't know about you, but all these percentage increases and so on and so forth, if you actually do the calculation for it, it's very little, which is quite funny, because a 10% increase here or there, sure, it's going to make a difference, but how much of a difference is it actually going to be? Because from my perspective, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very minor one, you know, because if you took a look there, one of my bombardments literally just all missed. And that's the thing, a 10% increase if your accuracy is 10, you know what I mean? Like, obviously I have no idea what the accuracy actually is of these things. Does it actually tell me? No. No. It doesn't actually tell me. It tells me the rate of fire and the projectile damage. It tells me their hit points, their build cost, and for some reason their difficulty. I guess that's engineering difficulty or whatever. I have no idea. It tells me all of these things, but it doesn't tell me the most important, which is the accuracy of the thing. I don't know. Maybe it will if I build something here. Does it tell me? No, it doesn't tell me actually that either. Okay, that's really weird. Anyway, the walls are down. Let's go in. But yeah, as I say, if the value assigned to this particular piece of siege equipment is relatively low, and I'm talking about, you know, if it's 10 or if it's 20 or even if it's 50, an additional 10% is not really going to be particularly useful. That's the thing, you know. If you are actually going to be doing anything super useful here, then the accuracy either needs to be a flat value, and you need to, well, show it, obviously, because we can't see it. We can't see it right now. We have no idea what the accuracy is. So we can't tell whether 10% is actually any good or not, which is remarkable. Because I would have actually imagined that it would be quite, I think it's pretty important for us to see that stuff, or at least I think so. I think it's pretty important to see that stuff, because if we don't see it, then how can we make a decent decision? I'm sure someone knows what the accuracy is of these trebuchets, right? I'm sure someone's done the calculating on it, or maybe you know, seen some game files or something like that that provides them with the information, because it doesn't show me in the game unless there is something that I'm missing, which I doubt, personally. But my my mortars are actually doing some fantastic damage right now. I've actually placed them in some decent locations, as you can see, and they do seem to be doing some damage, or at least I hope so. Yeah, look at that. That's some really, really good bombardment damage here. Oh, look at the amount of damage with that one. That was fantastic. Yeah, can we get more of that, please? That's the kind of thing that I really want to see in those situations. When we go into a siege, you want to see this damage. I don't even care if I die from my own mortar at this point, because I literally just think that that is hilarious and super, super fun. You know, that's the kind of thing that you want to really get going. Look at that damage from Elspeth right there as well. That is amazing. Yeah, I love that. I'm shooting my own force. That's great. Yeah, anyway. I mean, obviously, if you think about the fact that the Damsel and the Vampire classes that we played so far, they're really strong, right? They're really strong. And so, you know, if we think about the balancing of this character in difference to it, you know, in difference to the others, then this one is very underpowered, you know? This one is very underpowered in comparison. Of course, now, okay, now, let me just kind of reiterate a little bit upon that, because here's the thing. This particular character is probably the most powerful in regards to its protective qualities. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's pretty hard to kill. That's it. It's pretty hard to kill. So I like that. That is a really, really cool thing. Because obviously with the Damsel, I'm actually not entirely sure. How many times have I died in a situation with this particular character that is not due to me being an idiot and falling off, you know, a wall or something like that? How many times have I actually died in this series? Because from my reckoning, I think I've died, I think maybe one time due to damage from the opponent. I actually don't know. I can't remember. Maybe once, twice. I don't know, maybe more than that. I don't know. But I do know that I felt the safest on this character. Obviously, here's the thing. I'm not counting the times when I've run into a cannon. I'm not counting the times when I've been shot by my own cannons. I'm not counting the times where I have been, you know, falling off places, as I said. I'm not counting any of those times. I'm just counting the times where I have actually purely died from opponents when I have had this kind of armor on. Because you take a look at this armor right here, and we have such insane values. I mean, take a look at this. We've literally got, what is it, 93 total body armor. I mean, really. That's actually insane. That is so incredibly powerful, really, really protective, and I have felt very, very safe. And it's actually quite funny because I was in a battle in a bandit hideout in my off-screen time, because I was doing a little bit of off-screen, just clearing out some cultist hideouts and a beastman hideout, I think. And I was doing some, I was doing like I basically just went in solo because I thought, hey, that's going to be kind of fun, or at least, trying to have some fun with it, because if I'm going to do something, a little bit annoying, like, clearing out a bandit hideout at this point of the game, then I'm going to have some fun with it, right? So I went in by myself, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to see how I do, going to see how I do. So I went in with my firearm, and I literally did, I took no damage. I was being attacked by these guys in melee, and I literally took 0 damage. They were hitting me. I was being attacked from all sides by 3 guys. They had axes, and they were doing 1 damage. They were doing 1 damage, 2 damage, and so on and so forth. And that's it. And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. The protective quality of this particular class, at least with this amount of armor on, is amazing. And obviously, if you take a look at the Damsel in comparison, obviously the Damsel does have a lot of ward save. Ward save is obviously, flat damage percentage reduction, so that is obviously very, very good. But only you only get that ward save if you have less than a certain amount of weight. And obviously that is a pretty big deal, because if you have the less amount of weight, then you're going to activate that ward save, which is going to be really, really important. Because obviously if you have that, then, it makes you move faster, And I think that's generally kind of how they are encouraging you to play as well. Because I know someone actually mentioned something about the fact that casters can use basically any armor they want, and that there should be a restriction on that. And as far as I'm aware, there is kind of a... I mean, it's not really a restriction, so to speak, but if you take a look at my armor here, I'm actually not entirely sure if I have any armor on me right now. No, I don't have any armor on me right now, unfortunately, but maybe once I... well, shall we say, maybe once we are able to take this town, I'll be able to show you appropriately what's actually going on here. So we're just going to auto-resolve this real fast, because that was super, super easy, wasn't it? Yeah, we could just literally go straight on in. They basically have no troops whatsoever to defend against us, and we were able to easily take it. Anyway, I'm going to go into the marketplace here. If I go into the marketplace, and I'll just show you real fast, because I think the development team, the modding team, has actually been really, really smart about this. And they made it so that they are encouraging people to use these specific class items in comparison to punishing people for not using them. So it's inherently encouraging you by providing specific statistics and benefits that you're going to be getting for it. So for example, let's say you're playing a Celestial Wizard or you're playing a Light Wizard. They have different statistics associated with them, and they are going to provide you with a greater overall benefit to your own damage. So for example, if I'm playing as a vampire, or shall we say, if I'm playing as a necromancer, there is a full set of necromancer gear. So you're going to have robes, you're going to have a cap, you're going to have gloves and boots and a staff. And if you have all these things, it provides you with 50 to 60% additional magic damage. And you're also going to get damage resistance to magical spells as well. And this makes a huge difference. This makes a really, really huge difference to the amount of damage you're able to deal. And that's the point. If you think about it in these terms, then it's not actually being... it's not a case of the modding team just going, hey, you know what, if you wear heavy armor, you're going to get punished for it. No, because you can wear heavy armor if you want to. However, if you wear heavy armor, your spells are not going to do as much damage. As we found out with my vampire series, sometimes I could have definitely used a little bit more damage, you know, because my Wind of Death wasn't able to completely finish off an opponent. And in those situations, I was just cursing myself because it's a long cooldown, a 40-second long cooldown. Really pretty harsh. Whereas, you know, obviously with the damsel, you don't really need that, you know, because the damsel is, yeah, as I say, the damsel is probably my favorite character just because of the versatility that it has. It literally is capable of eliminating, you know, hundreds of troops without basically batting an eye, and I don't have to really do much with it. But it also has the benefit of a bunch of different support abilities, which I very much appreciate as well. Anyway, the point is, they're encouraging you to use these specific items, and they are not heavy armor. You know, for example, the Warrior Priest, right? The Warrior Priest, that has a bunch of items that are going to increase holy damage, that are going to, you know, give you damage reduction and so on. And it's kind of like a middle ground, you know? It's kind of like a middle ground because what it's doing is it's providing you with protection, but it's also giving you a bunch of magical benefits as well. And obviously, if you take a look at the damsel's gear, her protection and her protective quality that she has from her armor, it's just awful, you know? That's exactly what it's supposed to be. It is supposed to be awful because they're giving you a lot of damage from other things, and they also give you a lot of damage reduction from a lot of places as well, because of ward save. So if you actually put on the entire damsel set, you're going to have less weight than the required amount to activate your ward save percentages, and then you're going to be able to have more damage reduction as a result of that. But that did not prevent me from dying as the damsel, and that's just something to bear in mind. Even though I had, I think it was what? I think 40%? Did I have 40%? I have no idea now. I think I had at least 30%. So yeah, 30% ward save at least. it didn't prevent me from dying, obviously. It didn't prevent me from dying because, you know, if you get hit for, I don't know, 100 damage, you're still going to get hit for 70, which is still going to be a pretty, you know, harsh amount. So, you know, these kinds of things are just not going to make any difference. However, that very much depends on circumstances and so on and so forth. But this is the point. This character right here has felt the safest to me, and I personally feel like if you want to survive, if you want to be a character that is going to continue to, well, be alive until the very end of the battle, then you probably want to play this one, because that's the thing. It doesn't have a lot of kill potential. It does with its firearm, of course, and if you can actually use it appropriately to, you know, use your angles, because you've got to actually have some really, really good angles to be able to penetrate with the bullets. So that's obviously going to be a major plus. But apart from that, you may have some issues with it, obviously. You know, apart from the firearm, you may have some issues with it. And as we no doubt saw, though, as you saw in the previous siege that we went into, my mortars were doing an absolutely amazing job. They were eliminating so many, really quite easily as well. And that was just because of my placement too. And that's another thing that you've got to bear in mind. That's a learning curve kind of deal. Because you gotta make sure you place them in the correct places, otherwise it's not gonna work out so well. Which is exactly the reason why I was talking about that in a previous episode, where I was like, yeah, you know what, I'd really love to be able to, I don't know, decide where the mortars aim, or you know, something similar to that effect, you know. Because if I can decide where they aim, or if I can control them myself to some extent, then maybe that's going to be kind of cool. But obviously, as I said before, I don't know whether that's even possible. But yeah, anyway, the point is, if you do have a situation where you want to actually do damage yourself on a large scale, then you probably just want to play a different class in general then. You know, it's probably not going to be something for you otherwise if you are wanting to do that. If you want to play this character, that is. Okay, so wait a minute. What is actually going on here? No one is here to greet me? Are you serious? Come on now, guys. What's going on here? Okay, this is kind of weird. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. I guess I'll just place the mortar round about here then, I suppose. I actually have no idea where to place it to be the most effective. I guess I'll just place it here and see. Seems like most people are kind of just... What? Why are they not even bothering to charge in? This is kind of strange. I mean, should I even place my mortar somewhere else? Should I even place my mortar here? Maybe I should place both of them, like, here or something like that. I'm actually not entirely sure. Sure, we'll place both of them here. And then we'll see how it goes. I'm going to tell everyone to charge in. I'm literally just going to tell everyone to charge in, because otherwise we're not really going to be doing much. Maybe I should have just... I don't know. Should I have just auto-resolved this or something? I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah, also, by the way, if you want to survive really, really long with this, I highly recommend, thanks to those of you in the comments that actually recommended this as well, highly recommend getting Petty Heal. It's really easy to get. With this, just get to 25 Spellcraft, and then you'll have a whale of a time, because, you know, even though your Winds of Magic limit is really low, you're not really going to be able to cast too many spells, but obviously you only have one spell, and it only costs you 4 Winds of Magic, so it's really going to make a huge difference to your longevity. That's kind of what you want, isn't it? Yeah, you kind of want to survive, because if the enemy can really do massive damage to you, you could just heal that back up in an instant. And obviously that's the thing. Most of the time in the old realms, I think the greatest threat overall to your character, no matter what character you're playing, you know, what class you're playing, it's going to be burst damage. No matter what. Burst damage. That is the main killer. With a vampire, with a damsel, with whatever. It's always going to be burst damage, because every single class can heal themselves in some way or another. And it heals over time, of course. So, for example, just, I mean, you take a look at what's actually happening to me right now. I'm literally being shot by arrows, right? I'm being shot by arrows. I am literally taking damage from pretty much every single angle right here. And these guys can't really do much to me. Like, yeah, okay, they're actually attempting to murder me right now, but just look at this. I can just literally run away from them right here. I just jump down here. I've got strong legs. I'm not going to actually die from that. And we're just going to reload. And we're going to have Petty heal back in just a second as well. And I'm actually kind of surprised that... There we go. There we are. Well, okay, that was kind of weird. I'm not entirely sure why they decided to chase after me and then just completely stopped. Yeah, no offense, but what is the Bannerlord AI doing? What are they doing right now? Look at this. This is absolutely hilarious. They literally just decided, yes, we are going to charge after this fellow, and then we are going to stop charging after him for some reason. I really have no idea. Anyway, we can obviously shoot these guys because we have the ability to penetrate shields now, which is, again, another one of those wonderful things that I really, really appreciate. You know, it definitely shows that the modding team plays the game and knows kind of what's annoying, you know, with certain play styles, because obviously, just imagine, you know, imagine that in the base game, you had thrown weapons, and you didn't have that amazing perk that allows thrown weapons, or should we say javelins, to penetrate shields. Imagine you didn't have that perk. Throwing weapons would basically be so sad to use at that point. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't be sad to use, but they would definitely be a lot less effective than they are now. Am I the only one actually killing anything right here? I've killed 72. That's not particularly good, is it? No, that is not particularly good. And these guys are literally just standing here. Yeah, this is kind of weird. I've also told my forces to charge in, by the way. Have you noticed? I did tell them, and this is what's happening. As you can see, they're not actually charging. What if I tell them to hold position inside here? No, they're not willing to do that either. So I'm going to assume that taking down the walls in this situation was probably not the best idea, and is probably causing them to not want to do it, because they either assume that the walls are not down, or something else is going on here, because they are obviously not reacting at all to the fact that the walls are down. So I will actually be retreating from here. I really didn't want to, of course. We had this well in the bag. This would have absolutely been a super, super easy victory for us. But we're just going to have to charge in. Just going to have to charge in, take some damage, unfortunately. Most of the casualties that we had were from my allies' armies, so we don't have to worry too much about it. But again, definitely not something that we really wanted to have happen. That is pretty awful. Oh well, never mind. Okay, so we have been pretty lucky with what we've got going on so far. Obviously, we've been able to take quite a few fiefs, but we haven't really gotten into particularly spectacular battles yet. So let's actually just have a look-see at what's going on here. So obviously, they've taken this back. That's a wholeheartedly assumed thing that they were going to do. But it feels to me like the AI, or should we say the friendly AI, is definitely causing some huge, huge problems with me right now. And, I mean, you can see here, just look at, I mean, yeah. This is exactly the problem. They have 11 of our people prisoner, and they just got themselves captured. Which is the entire reason why we're very unlikely to be able to make too much progress with this character, because these guys, right, these allied forces that we have available here, they are just awful. They just decide these really, really weird things for no reason whatsoever, and they just get themselves taken prisoner for no reason whatsoever either. Like, for example, that first siege that we went into, we could have easily taken that solo, and they decided, yeah, you know what, we're going to go in there. Don't know why. Really, really weird. Also, this guy attempting to attack me, you know, that's kind of also a bit... okay, never mind. We should be fine here. I don't really want to take 3,000 on with 672, no offense. I know some people are going to say to me that I should really just go in there, but I'm not. You know, I'm not really interested in doing that. And now we've made peace. Yep, now we made peace. So I managed to take this town and this castle. We did actually retake this. So we have captured more territory than we lost. However, they also took this. So it's basically that we just swapped. Yeah, we just swapped some fiefs, which I gotta say I'm not that pleased about, to be honest. I thought to myself, yeah, we're gonna make some really, really good progress here, because I thought my allies, they're gonna do a great job. I'm giving them the opportunity to create their army first, which is, as I said at the very beginning of the episode, I thought, hey, you know what, that's probably going to make a big difference to our overall success, or our rate of success. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case, and they just didn't care about it one way or another, which makes me very sad indeed. Because I thought, yeah, they're going to be, you know, more effective this time around. And no, they turned out not to be, which is very sad. But yeah, anyway, I think that's probably going to be it for this episode, and indeed for this series. Yeah, as you can no doubt tell, we've kind of gotten to a point where we can't really do much here, because the only thing that I could do is create my own faction. And creating my own faction is going to be a huge slog. I'm not sure whether it's even going to be possible. I mean, yeah, it is. But I'm going to have to go up against the Empire, and they are going to come at me with an army of, you know, 2,000 or something like that. And I don't really want to do that, to be honest. I actually wanted to stay with this Empire faction and try to take over the Vampires' territory. That was kind of like my main objective that I wanted to push towards, and I thought taking some of the other territory from some of the other Empire factions would provide us with enough combat strength in the end to be able to push forward and eliminate the vampires. But because it's kind of like a tug of war at the moment, because what's happening is that the vampires are getting into these massive armies, and it's impossible to really do anything against the friendly AI being an idiot. The only thing we can do is we can call them into an army of our very own. I'm talking about, like, we can just basically call every single one of these people into an army and then go from there. That's the only thing I can really think of that would actually make maybe a slight bit of difference. But other than that, it's going to be a case of them just running in and doing really stupid things, which is obviously very sad. But I think that's probably going to be it, as I say, for this series. And stay tuned for the next one. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing next, but we're going to see in due time. I thank you very much for watching and for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you next time.